Hello, everyone. It's Joseph, and I'm here with Chris Sorby. And together, we have created this amazing documentary series with the help of our backstage, should we say, Cassie and Julia. And I'm really excited because this is number 30 in our documentary series of icons. Why icons? Well, many of us in this industry are unaware of where things have started. And as I've learned in the last 30 weeks, it is very crucial to know what your history is. And by watching these documentaries myself, it's changed what I still do behind the chair. I think this is just an amazing documentary series. If you want to continue to watch, there's 29 of them on YouTube, iConixxx Live. Go ahead and subscribe, share, get the whole group and friends that are in the industry and not even involved. Today we have a really, really interesting young lady who has been in my life for my whole career. And certainly I will say from the day I met her, she truly has made me who I am today. And I want to, as I always say, please always have a piece of paper or a pen, because this individual may say some things or quote a book or title a book that you may want to read or something to inspire you by, but write it down. I think it's, it's going to be a good one. And I'm going to turn it over right now to Chris Sorby, who's coming in from Oxford, England. Chris, you look great as always.
Thank you, Joseph.
I tip my hat to you.
I love you with your hat on. But anyway, enough about you. I really want to introduce this lady because as like you, Joseph, she's been in my life for many, many years. She was voted one of 75 strong educators of the century. She co-developed an audio series called Masters, A Personal Journey to Success. She's the author of 2 best-selling books. She's the co-founder of the Salon Professional Academy in Colorado Springs and proclaimed by peers and magazines as superhero born to motivate. Please meet the beautifully spirited Kitty Victor.
Thank you so much. That's all hard to believe when I hear it, but I'm the one that's very humbled and honored to be amongst all of you, plus all the other icons that you've interviewed. Oh my gosh. I am just humbled and honored to be here, and I just thank you for the invitation.
Oh, it's our honor, Kitty. And yeah, you're right. You know, you are part of the library of some incredible people, and we only choose incredible people because they're icons. But anyway, I'm going to ask you something. What is the most
very well said
lesson, Joseph? Can you just, I'm trying to ask Kitty a question.
I know. I'm still, your introduction is still making me feel very happy, right? The spirited Kitty Victor.
Well, we know she is.
Well said. All right, I'll leave you alone now.
Thank you. Kitty, what's the most important lesson that life has taught you?
Oh, never give up. Never give up on your dream. You know, if I can just do a quick little story of history, I was in beauty school. Okay, we're going back about 50 years. Yes, that's giving my age away. And a gentleman came in to talk to us. He worked for Redken. His name was Ken England. And he so inspired me that I followed him out the door and invited him for lunch. Now, this was funny because I had money. Okay, but we were going across the street, so I knew the owner would let me ride if I got the tab. And I said, I want to do what you're doing. What do I do? And he said, well, first you need to get through beauty school. Okay. And I said, okay, did that. And he gave me people to be in contact with. And it took about a year. By the time I got out of beauty school, got my teacher's license. Okay. I did a little wig work along the way for a while. And in a year, next thing I know, I'm leaving El Paso, Texas on an airplane to Los Angeles. Oh my gosh, I'm going to Los Angeles and I'm working for Redken. And you know, that was probably the first dream. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on what you wish. If you're feeling it, it's probably a reason why you're feeling it. I'd say it's God inspired, but it's something that's in your nature. I know I was created to teach, to motivate, to inspire people. And that first day in beauty school, I couldn't help myself. I ran out after him after lunch. And then there I was, something like a 50-year career with them.
That's
So
great.
So let me just ask you something, Kitty. So you say that the most important thing that you learned in life is to run after these random men?
Yeah, baby. Yeah, you know, when you see something, in fact, one of the advice that I would give any hairdresser or student, whenever you go to a show, if we ever have shows back the way we used to, even if you're attending it virtually, after it's over, you go up to that speaker, introduce yourself, and tell them what you liked about what they said. Find one thing, two things. Don't just go, oh, you were so good, you made me laugh, haha. No, tell them exactly what they said that really impacted you. And I will tell you, you never know how that connection is going to happen. I mean, that's with you and I, Chris. And so don't be shy about it. And if it's virtual, then find out how to email them, okay? And let them know. And even if there's nothing that you want from them, you just want to let them know you enjoyed it. You're making contact, you're making connections. And that's so important if you want to be great in this beauty industry.
Yeah, so true. Thank you.
Hmm.
Joseph, I know you're dying.
Yeah, I know. I have a couple of pages here of questions, but I want to take you back right now because this is what this documentary is all about. Where was the school that you attended, and what sparked an interest?
You mean beauty school?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny. That pops in my brain perfectly. Back in the day when customers were going to their hairdresser once a week for a roller set, okay, my mother would go see Miss Ruby, and I would always go with her, and it just seemed natural because everybody there was so happy and everybody was smiling and it was like a big family and everybody was happy to see each other. So I started helping. I started doing towels and I started, you know, washing coffee cups and whatever I could do, sweep hair and hand rollers to Miss Ruby. And then when my mother's hair was done, I'd say, do I really have to go? She said, no, you can stay here. And Miss Ruby says, I'll take you home later. And I mean, every Saturday, it must have started like when I was 11, maybe 10. And I loved hanging out in salons. So I just knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to beauty school. And I talked my mother into going to beauty school. And it was funny because as time progressed, she ended up being one of my educators at the school. And this was in El Paso, Texas, you know. And I have a lot to say for Miss Ruby for I want to thank her. Of course, she's been passed for many, 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 many years. She's probably doing angel's hair up there. But I just loved hanging out in the salon in that environment. It was so fun. Yeah.
That was Miss Ruby. Was the salon called Miss Ruby's?
Yes.
It was.
Yes,
Love
it was.
Love it. I worked in a salon one time. Guess what the name was? Curl Up and Die.
I heard that.
I mean, okay, it was spelled D-Y-E, but oh, why did I work there?
Why were you attracted to that?
I think because at the time jobs were scarce.
This barbershop I drove by this week is called Shears and Shots.
Oh.
Very
Hey,
popular.
there again, is it gun shots or vodka shots?
So I'm going to continue. So once you graduated school, was it what was the schooling like? Was it a year? Was it a year and a half? Was it?
Oh, it was not even a year. It was like 9 months. It was very quick. And you got a lot of hands-on, which then again was mostly, shampoos and sets.
Sure.
And, you know, razor cuts, which today I can still give the best razor cut of anyone. I'd even challenge you, Joseph. So, um, yeah, it was a time and air, you know. And like I said, about a year later, I did actually work in a salon for a very short time, but I took off and was traveling all across the United States, spreading the word for Redken. And it was just a great, great transition, you know.
Yeah, beautiful story.
Yeah.
Chris,
So,
what you got?
well, I was just going to say, you know, I know that you got to thank Miss Ruby for teaching your mum how to do hair, or no, I forget what it was, but your mum ended up being your beauty school teacher. But what else is it that you have to thank your parents for?
Well, I had really good parents. Chris, I was actually adopted. And so I knew that my parents really wanted me. In fact, I created some really chaos in my neighborhood because I went out and told all my little friends, haha, your mom had you, had to keep you. My mom got to pick me out. Mom's ringing off the hook. So they were really, really good parents. But when my mother was diligent on everything she did, but the thing I treasure is my father's pride in being an American. You know, his parents came over on the boat and from Italy, and he got to become a citizen. He even lied to get into the army. Said he was 18 and he was only like 16, and then he rejoined. But he instilled in me to be so proud to be an American. And then the other thing that went right along with this, and this probably came more from my mother, was good old-fashioned manners. And I'm still to this day a stickler with that. I have a lot to do with my 15-year-old granddaughter's life, Gabby Danielle. And, you know, she knows manners in today's society. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Please. Thank you. Holding the door for people. You know, seeing if they can reach down and pick something up, you know. So, and I think that's timeless. You know, they say, oh, today's generation. Well, no, today's generation just hasn't been taught it. Because I know for a fact today's generation does know manners if someone talks to them about it. So manners and being proud to be an American.
Oh, that's so lovely. And I didn't know that your dad was an immigrant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Daniel and Selma Troiani.
Oh. So cool.
I love that story. So you graduated from school, and the very first salon you worked in, was it Ruby's?
Was it what?
Ruby's?
No. Oh, no. No, it was a very high-end salon that was in one of the high-end stores. It sold clothing and everything, a big department store. And
Yes.
they had the room and the French room. And when you started in the blue room. Okay. And if you got really work on the other side, which was the French room, and you got to charge a few bucks more, you know. So
Wow.
Yeah, funny stories. But you know.
What a setup.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that you say that, Kitty, because I worked in, you know, the departmental store in London that probably anyone in the world has ever heard of is called Harrods.
Yeah.
And so I worked there, and we worked, if you were the lower side of, you know, your training, you worked in the blue room. And then if you went up a notch, you worked in the red room. And I worked in the red room with Harold Layton. Where he used to, if I didn't pass him the brush in the right way, he would throw it at me, and his brush hurt.
Jesus.
It's true. So, Kitty, what has been to date your most embarrassing moment?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that one. Okay. People that are watching this, if you've been around for any length of time, you'll know the name Jimmy Victor or James Victor. So Jimmy and I were obviously happily married. We traveled all around the world. What a blessing. And we had this little thing where they would introduce us. He would run on stage. I would run after him. Okay. And then we kind of like pretended we collided. Okay. So this one time, actually it was in Hair Color USA in Miami. I'll never forget it. He's running. Now, we didn't have cordless mics. He had a microphone with a cord. Okay. And the cord ended up between his legs. And when he ran, I hit the cord with my foot, which kind of pulled it against between his legs, and he went, ah! I could not quit laughing. He could not quit laughing. The audience could not quit laughing, and we got a standing ovation for that. You know,
and did he survive? Oh, brilliant. Did he survive?
Yes, he did. Very well.
Okay.
Very good at playing an audience. So, I'm sure it wasn't that hard, but it was pretty hard.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. So, all right. So back to your travel. So you left that blue and French salon. And then from there you went to LA, Redken?
Yep.
Park?
Yep.
Now, you were a colorist for them. Were you a colorist strongly before that, or was that the position that was available?
No, when we first went on, you really weren't that departmentalized. You were out teaching all the basics, the product knowledge and everything. In fact, I don't even think they had color yet when I first started with him. So you were really just out there teaching your basics, the pH and everything that, Redken's known for. And, somehow in all of that, I guess you'd call it motivation, inspiration, would just kind of come along with that for me, and traveling all over. And then we go do shows. And that's actually how I met Jimmy. He was at the same show I was speaking at, and he took the microphone away from me. Yep, that was the start of a great relationship.
Is that when you started dating him?
Well, actually, I really thought he was cute, and I liked what he was saying. So I went to my boss and said, hey, let's have a show party at my house, and we could invite the other guest artists. Yes. So we invited a few of the guest artists, and it was amazing. He showed up with a girl, really upset me. That blew my whole connected, and next thing I know, we're on stage together, opening salons together, and we had a beautiful beautiful relationship for many, many years, 18 years, I believe. So yeah,
that's beautiful. I love that story. That's how I met you. I met you on stage with Jimmy in Pheasant Run, Illinois. It was remember when they used to do those regionals that traveled around?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you colored hair like, I can't say it. I'm trying to find the adjective to describe, but that was the start of really making me really want to do what you were doing up there, you too. So
color was my passion. I think it was mostly because I was too afraid to cut hair until Jimmy taught me how to cut hair. But color just seemed like a natural for me. I still love coloring hair.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from you with color, as well as Chris. I mean, to have the two of you in this Brady Bunch screen right now is truly a blessing for me, right? So
Chris, make him do a model and present it to us, and we can judge it.
Yeah. Kitty, what's the worst job that you've ever done?
I have no idea.
What's the worst job that you've ever done?
Yeah, I don't know.
She was blessed to always just have.
I can think of something that was worse. I can think of a lady that ran out of the salon crying, but it wasn't just because of color. It was because Jimmy trimmed her hair, and turned out she was a little bit psycho, and that really, I took her to the hospital. It was crazy.
What?
But, yeah, it was really crazy. Anyway, but I can't think of anything else that I just have loved everything that's been put in front of me, you know, even right now. I've been blessed.
So if I could, I'm going to take Chris's question, and just knowing after, being with the students the last couple days, they are not, some of them don't see themselves to be as lucky as what you just said. So I'm just going to tell you that many of them know how I feel about them having jobs they don't like. I mean, in the greater picture of things, I think both of you would agree. If you stick to one thing, you become so good at it that's when your being really shines and the wealth will come. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I think they're going to have bad jobs, Kitty. And if you could rethink what Chris just asked you and inspire students with if you do have I keep wanting to say shitty, but I know I'm not supposed to say shitty because that's not a good thing to say. But do you know what I'm saying? Do you get it? Because you know what? You were fortunate. I think Chris and I were fortunate. We wish upon them that they have the path that they want to go on. Many of them see Chris and want to be a Chris.
But no, wait.
I want.
I'm sorry to tell. Talk about the worst job you've ever had. You worked in a salon called Curl Up and Die.
Yeah.
What I did, I think maybe in about the 3 weeks that I worked there, I did one client. The rest of the time, I was washing towels and taking the salon owner's dog for a walk. That's all I did.
Wow.
Job I ever had.
Joseph, if I may interject there, to inspire your students, is because you two wouldn't settle. You just kept going and going and going. I remember flying to Appleton every month for 3 days to coach you and your team, and because you wanted to get better. Okay, so that was an investment on your part. But and Chris, the same thing. Her creativity is just, she's never happy or been still. I remember watching something from her that said, when I'm home, I'm still doing mannequins. I said, why would she do that? She's like the #1 colorist in the world. The world on her day off in her kitchen would she be doing color? Because she wants to be better than she is. So if your students want, they just have to find their and pursue. And I have some advice I'd give some of your students. But before that, I thought of something that was, I don't know if it was the most devastating thing, but the most embarrassing thing, okay, that happened to me as a hairdresser. Jimmy and I were in Puerto Rico. And I know just a little bit of Spanish growing up in El Paso. And so this girl that I was doing her hair, really long hair, and her father was standing over beside me watching because he only wanted a little bit cut off. And I was trying to say she was beautiful, and instead I called her a whore. Yeah. Her father walked forward, pulled his jacket aside to show me his gun. And so immediately my translator came in and apologized for me that I didn't know Spanish. I was trying to be nice, and I'm sorry. And no, I'll only cut this much off your daughter's hair.
Oh my God. Oh
yeah.
my God.
So, try to fit in.
Oh, dear.
Kitty, I so relate to that. As you, and Joseph, we've been in hundreds of model rooms over the years. And honestly, some of the things that we've had to deal with from parents, like so irate and angry if you didn't choose their daughter or their son as a model. And you're like, hey, I'm trying to do, African-American hair. I can't use this blonde girl. Really, or, you've got a mother dragging her poor little 10-year-old in to force her to be on a stage. It's not easy.
No.
And I think as hairdressers, we have to learn how to be, this is where, Kitty, the manners come into play, but we have to be so diplomatic, understanding, empathetic to the kid, try to be a little stronger with the mom and say, come back next year. And I mean,
Yeah.
not
Okay.
easy.
That triggered a thought, Chris. One time, Jimmy and I don't know what gave us this idea. We decided we wanted models for the show to be twins or triplets. We just thought that would be so much fun. But we thought, we'll advertise for that. But I don't know. 50 sets of twins or triplets. 50. Okay. And y'all know what? If we could do 3 for a whole show, that'd be a lot. Times 2 would be 6. Okay. And we others that were so that we didn't choose them. They were irate, and the idea was they looked the same, but then we'd take them back and change them. And then the 2 would look different, or the 3 would look different. It was a fun idea for a show, but whoa, mothers, my twins look better than those twins, whoa, So anyway, yeah, enough about that stuff. Okay.
Well, I want to bring up how we've always met along my career path. So I've known you for a very, very long time. And certainly when I ended up out in LA for a while, you were a part of this team that I was kind of brought in for. But, Kitty, life really changed when you and I accepted the ticket to go to a conference, a gathering in Minneapolis. And I dragged Joy there, my wife Joy, and bless her heart, because I was bringing her into something that, I've probably been divorced 32 times in 36 years of marriage, because this was going to be another situation. But, it was the schools when the whole transition of the academies came forth. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? And
Yes.
what was your takeaway from that whole group and how they found all of us and brought us all together? And it was just kind of that right mix and blend. And a lot of them were Redken artists.
Yeah. Oh gosh, a lot of excitement, passion. The people that showed up were like you and that really wanted to make a difference, not just in the everyday client sitting in front of you, but for the future students, for the future stylists,
Mm-hmm.
And, that's a commitment. That's a major, major commitment. So, you and God, I forget how many others were there. We were just so respectful that you had that desire. And not only would it be a time investment, but a big financial investment. So it was for the right people, right time, and obviously you jumped, and that was good. And yes, your lovely, beautiful wife Joy, she lives up to her name, Joy. She is a joy. And so yeah,
that was quite a time. That was quite a time, and still going. Still,
we met to do what was called the KRS Consulting, and I officially became a consultant. And you and Fred and Joy, and so we've had a lot of interaction over the years, that's for sure.
We really have. And the whole commitment that you had to travel all around the country to all these different salons, all these different locations, to keep your energy level up in the top 20, never in the bottom 80. And you'd come into our business and sit down with us, and the knowledge that you brought to us truly brought us to the next level of what this industry truly became. A really big commission salon that had associates and levels, and man, that was fun.
Money.
Yep, that was fun. And I got to cut your hair every once in a while.
Yeah. Joseph, when you talk about cutting my hair, something happened to me this week, and I wrote this down, and hopefully I'm not stepping out of bounds here, but I'm thinking about students or even long-term hairdressers that are still doing hair behind the chair. I went to see my good friend, Greg Chavez, to cut my hair, so I looked cute for this video.
I do too.
Greg, you, Kazu in Japan, and Benny in Australia. Okay, so Greg is the most closest for me to work with. So, and I was thinking, what makes Greg such a great hair cutter? Okay, and he's a great colorist as well. And it dawned on me he has great skills. All of you that are hairdressers, you've got to develop your skills. That goes without saying. However, what he has is the ability to listen. He really listens to what you want. So he knows, I don't want this too short. He knows this has got to lay in close. He knows I want volume up here. So when I explain everything to him, and I've known him for 20 years, so he probably knows every inch of my head anyway, he repeats it back to me. Now that's a clue, gang. Whoever's listening to this, repeat back to the client what they said, or the guest. I don't call them clients, I call them guests. Repeat back to them. And then that guest relaxes because they go, oh, they really heard me. Now you want to take it as next step, even a better step. When you sit them down in the chair and ask them what they're thinking about, you get out from the mirror and go stand in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to them in the mirror. Joseph, I know I taught your team this. Do not talk to that client in the mirror. You will eventually while you're cutting their hair. But when that consultation happens, you stand in front of that guest and you're listening. And if you keep your hands out of their head, they will put their hands up and show you what they want. Okay. And now you're really looking at them. And I'll tell you, there's something magic about that. Okay. We're used to talking to people in the mirror. The first step is the most important step. Find out what they want and what they don't want. And the best way of doing that is talk to me about, if everything was perfect, what would your hair look like? And then go stand in front of them and listen to them. And I tell you what, if you're not doing this, you start doing this, okay, and your income's going to double. Your tips are going to triple, I promise you. And if you're in beauty school and you're listening to this, start that right now. It's very hard for us veterans to quit talking in the mirror and go around front and listen to them that way. It makes all the difference in the world. And that's what Greg does. I know Cassie says she loves Greg. We all do. And it was just so fun to be his client the other day and to watch him. And of course, his skills are perfect. They're perfection. But his manners, his caring, his attitude about making sure he heard everything I said by repeating it back to me. I'm like, yep, that's why you're so great, Greg. That's why you're so great. So anyways, I just had to share that because I wrote that down the other day. So people, I could share that with people because it's not about just learning the newest color technique that Chris Sorby can teach you, or the newest hair cutting technique that Joseph or Cassie's going to show you, or Julia in Peru. It's more about that relationship, you know, and let's go back to Miss Ruby. That's what I felt at 10, 11, 12 years old, was there was a relationship between hairdresser Ruby and guest sitting in her chair.
Yeah. I think what you just said was extremely valuable and very well spoken. So I think that that's very important for them to hear. And, you know, even the stylists that have been doing hair for 10 years,
yeah,
still revisit what you said. Chris?
Yeah, I was just going to add on to what you were saying there, Kitty, and I love Greg too. I'm his biggest fan. But, you know, what sometimes we don't realize about our clients or our guests is that they are not comfortable looking at themselves in a mirror in front of anyone. So by doing what your suggestion is and walk around and stand in front of them, so your back is to the mirror and they're looking at you but can still see themselves, then there's more opportunity for them to be able to open up and feel more relaxed because they don't feel that they're being watched looking at themselves. So it's a bit of psychology goes in.
I love that.
I would encourage veteran hairdressers that are out there, you get so set in your ways, thus becomes the burnout. I'm going to challenge them, and people, I'm going to give you my email address in a little bit. I'm going to challenge you to change it up. Change it up. Move your station. Change it up. Put the products on the opposite side of the chair. Get a new cape. Get some new combs, okay? And put something in front of you that will remind you to move around the front. I don't care if you've done this lady for 20 years. To remind, say, I just want to review what we've been doing and see if there's anything else that you would like, and then step in front. So I don't know, like when I wanted to remember to talk about perms, I left 3 perm rods on top of my station. Okay. If you want to remember to move, maybe put a bobbing head doll on your station to remind you to move in front. But I tell you, the only way you're going to get out of the burnout or the, new day, same client, new day, same client, is by making little changes. And if you've been in the business 10, 15, 20 years, whoo, you're really doing great. Now, get yourself excited again.
I want to add something. I felt that I needed to really jolt my world a little bit. I don't know why. I just felt that. And Joy's gone. She, went to go see our grandchild. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to rearrange the living room today because I just want to see a whole different perspective, right? So I'm driving home and I'm calling my friend Mary, who you may know, Mary. And I said, Mary, how you doing? She goes, oh, I'm really good. You're not going to believe this. I rearranged my living room today. And I'm now looking out my window north towards you. And I cannot believe how great I feel in this room. Now, you just brought up, rearrange, go sit at a different station. Isn't that the truth, really? If you just move yourself out of where you are. And that just, Kitty, that was really great what you just said. And putting your things down on the station to remind you to talk about stuff. I think you have a 3rd book, darn it all. I'm not sure. And Chris and I would love to be a part of that somehow. So, who knows?
Yeah, I think it's true. It's about reinvention. Like you say, Kitty, if you've been behind the chair and you're still seeing the same clients that you did 20 years ago, only now you're doing their kids as well. It can get boring. For sure it can get boring. So it's up to us to change ourselves. Our clients won't change unless we encourage them to. So we really have to treat every client as though they're the first client or the first time that we ever saw that client. Otherwise, nothing's going to change.
Right.
Kitty, in your career, what would you say has been your biggest disappointment?
Oh, gosh. Honestly, Chris, I can't think of even a little disappointment. I mean, it's taken time, to move forward a lot of times when I wanted to change things up. But again, I go back to my first comment. Don't give up. If you have something on your heart that you want or you feel you want, research it, get involved, don't let go of it, hold on to it. And so I can't really think of any big disappointment. And it's not like I've had the perfect career. I mean, I've had to work to get this or had to work to get that, to stand up and be counted, so, but nothing so disappointing, obviously, Chris. I'm sorry. I don't have any.
Sorry. I'd like to interject.
You know what? Let me just bring it back.
Go ahead.
To Kitty first. Have you been disappointed in people and why?
I don't know if the word would be disappointed. It might be sad when I see someone that has a goal and a dream, and because it gets a little hard, okay,
yeah,
they stop. And that just breaks my heart because I see in them what they may not see in themselves. And because I coached, oh gosh, I figured it out one month. I think I coached something like close to 300 people in 1 month on a one-on-one basis. Okay. I mean, I was a busy little consultant. And, I'd give them goals. And you know this, Joseph, and they'd come back in and they'd go, look, I met my goal. In fact, I broke it. And then another one would come in and they'd actually gone down. Well, what happened? Well, I just gave up. Well, you must have gave up pretty soon because you've had 30 days and you've gone down, So, and so then instead of, I'd always look at myself. Do I need to find another way to try to motivate them? Maybe what I gave them wasn't enough. Maybe I gave them something they want more money for to put away for a vacation. Maybe that wasn't important to them. Maybe if I dug a little deeper about them, Found out they had massive hospital bills they were trying to pay and
Mm.
use that as a goal, you know. So I always looked at myself too. I didn't beat myself up if I didn't get it right, but it would certainly open doors for conversation for people who didn't. But I would tell you, and I say this very, very proud, I would say 98% of the people that I coached and gave new goals every month hit them. Hit them. And you know that from your own team, Joseph. You know, they hit them. And it would be funny because you would tell me, you know, they know you're coming in 3 days and all of a sudden hustling up a retail rack, you know. So, you know, they know you're coming. So now they're all of a sudden selling add-on color or add-on tree.
Right.
You know.
That's what I was just going to say. Obviously, Kitty, they were petrified of you.
You needed to have a kitty. You needed to have her make that rattle their tents a little bit. You know, Kitty, you ready for this question? I have a question for you. What is next for Kitty Victor?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm surprised you haven't used this word, but
Stop.
is when I left the school because of course the COVID and things, and I had other goals, and we had great people that could step in that I had trained. So the first time somebody texted me and said, "Kitty, I heard you retired." What? The word retire? I was never going to retire. I mean, I'd fall dead in the back room of a salon, maybe at the front desk at school, but never retire. And then I started thinking, yeah, I think I like this because I can start doing things that I want to do. That perhaps working gave me the excuse as not to focus as much. Couple of things. One is, even though I've retired, Joseph, just so your listeners know, I'm still available to come to your salon. In fact, I'm going to go to Joseph's school pretty soon. I'm still available to come in and either do one-on-one coaching or individual coaching, virtual seminars, in-person seminars. I'm still available for that. And like I said, I'll give you my email or you can message me on Facebook. Okay. I'm still available for that. One of the things that I'm really excited about, and I don't want to get too churchy here, but God put on my heart was ministry for women. You know, I know it sounds like my life's all been perfect, but I've had 2 flight for lives. 2 times I was pronounced dead and wasn't. Another time they pronounced me going to be brain dead and I wasn't. Okay. I mean, I've had some real traumatic things happen in my life, but I was brought through them. And because of those experiences, I realized that other women, nothing about you guys, okay, but I can really relate to the women, that many women, when I've spoke in churches to women's group, I mean, afterwards, when I admit that I was depressed, me, Kitty Victor, woman of faith, born to motivate, how could I be depressed? But I was after heart surgery. And when I share that in the details, the first time I did that, Joseph, Chris, Cassie, Julia, there were 50 women lined up to talk to me about that. I mean, I get emotional when I think about it because they had nobody that they felt comfortable sharing it with. So I feel like if I can share that with women and how to help get through that, that's a gift. That's a gift I was given. And so it's called Victor Ministries. So any of you watch and have a church, Facebook me, message me, I'll come talk to your church. And so that's really important to me. I want to give hope. It's a ministry of hope. And hope stands for HOPE, Healing Opportunities for People Everywhere. And that's what hope is. So yeah, I'm retired from 8 to 5. And I'm really having fun because I now have a personal trainer, coach, physical trainer. He comes once every 5 days a week and trains me. And at 71, I've never been this strong, you know, and healthy. So I think I used, again, 8 to 5 work as an excuse not to have those things. And but if you're really important to you, you'll make time. So yeah, I'm sorry, Joseph. I'm kind of going off on you, but
No. You know,
I'm peaceful, happy, joyous, and free, and that's who you need on my.
yeah,
Doug.
yeah, Doug Cox, for sure.
Yeah, he's my daughter's godfather.
I know Doug well. He's an
Yeah,
amazing man. Well,
yeah.
when you say you don't want to get, I don't know how you put it, like go get religious on you or whatever. I would like just everyone that's watching this to know that whether she says she can come to your church or your salon
Or both.
or both, what she preaches is healthy, because the salon I had, many times I was told I had a church. Many times I was told that all the guests that came there for the reason of what they were going to receive and how they walked out of the salon. I never looked
Yeah.
at it like that. But when you truly look at any salon owner that speaks to a staff on how to take care of a guest, or what you did to my staff by coming in and even talking to me, the owners, the shareholders. Kitty, you're very good at that. It's a gift and you have it. I think very few do. I think you're only human to say that you've gone through depression and you've gone through the things that you've gone through. And you truly are what I would say a God's gift to this industry. And I'm going to push you hard to put more out there so that you can create another book. I think you should. And I think your book should be directed to the last few years of your life that were so highly embedded in education, right? Chris and I know education, and we need someone like you, and always have, that can teach to the student at that level and preach to them about the importance of how to take care of people. So you're a package of goodness,
I'm
right?
humbled. Now you're going to make me cry. So Chris asked
Well,
me.
it's just true.
So,
I think Chris, my partner in crime, would agree upon everything I just said, wouldn't you? Is it just not the truth about
Yeah.
this woman?
Yeah.
thank you.
You don't realize, Kitty,
Yes.
just how much courage you gave me, how much your belief in me supported me throughout my time in being in the United States. That was 20 years. And you have no idea how many times I thought of you on a daily basis. Some days I didn't like you because I was crying that day. Other days I absolutely loved you for instigating the opportunity that I eventually got. And I've said your name so many times to so many people. And I love you, and I do think that yes, you should write another book about how, as women, we can empower each other. Because I do think, I mean, I've been blessed in my life, you've been blessed in your life, but not every woman has or is. And I think that still, even though we're in 2020, which is a year we want to forget, but even in this year, there are still women out there in the world who do not have or have not had the support that we have, either from our parents or from people who have touched us, people that we've worked with. We've both worked for, all three of us have worked for Redken. We know what sort of a family that is and how empowering to have that amount of people around you that are on your team. You know, people don't have that. When you think about half of the guests that came into your salons or came into your school or your salon, Joseph, you know what their lives are like at home.
You know, Chris, on that line, something I used to teach people, and I would share it again. And particularly if you're new, just do it. But if you've been in it for a long time and you're a little burnout, this will get you out of it, okay? Write a thank you note to your guest. Write a thank you note. You know, get their address, put a stamp, a nice thank you card, that you enjoy seeing them and that they've been this to you and that to you and you appreciate their support. appreciation is the #1 human needed emotion in the world today. It's more important than love. I can love you, you can love me, but if, you know, every time you thank me, Chris, I feel so appreciated that I had the foresight to call the vice president of L'Oreal Education and Chris Norby's available, you know.
She's
It makes
getting divorced.
yeah, and Trevor wasn't mad at me, but anyway, another time, another story. But if you take time, just pick out 5 clients a week and send them thank you cards, and just do it quietly, humbly.
You know,
That is going to make a difference in how you start reacting to your guests. You're going to get new again.